Hi, welcome to this video on how to use Lightroom to create autumnal colours and a dreamy effect within an image. I'll be using a number of capabilities within Lightroom rather than just saturation to create this final image. So first things first, let's select the image and create a virtual copy. Once we've created the virtual copy, we can go to the develop module where we'll begin to make the changes. I've chosen this image with a focus on the waterfall and the cliffs and a softness to the trees from this winter scene, and also it contains some snowfall which I want to maintain in the final image. I'll isolate the waterfall and the snow a little bit later, but first let's make some changes to the overall image. First, let's just expand the image. We'll then take a look at the basic contents. First, we'll change the profile to Adobe Landscape. We'll then just change that temperature just a little. I just want to warm it up quite a bit. I want to give it that warm autumnal feeling. I may well visit those a little bit later as well. Let's increase the contrast just a little bit. Let's just see what difference that makes. Yeah, I think we're good there. And what I also want to do is bring up the clarity. I want to just start to give it that feeling of sharpness, and but not over sharpen it, in which case I'm actually going to dehaze it just a little bit. I want to keep that dreamy effect, that autumn dreamy effect, but what I will do is also increase the vibrance just a little bit. I don't want to overdo that. I see so many overdo this, and once we've finished with some of the other ones a little bit later, we will, some of the other settings, we'll come back to some of these and just make sure that we're not overdoing anything to create noise in the image. That's a little bit over the top now, I feel, so let's just pull back on the warmth a little bit. There we go. You'll notice here that the orange is now starting to affect the water and the snow. I'll come back to those very shortly, but first let's just have a look at the saturation of the particular colours and the luminance. So what I really want to do is just make sure that we don't lose the green as well. I think that the orange, we can definitely increase the saturation of that. I'm going to up the saturation of that just to highlight the tips of the trees in the... And also, let's bring out that green. Let's bring out those greens. And now we've got our saturation. Let's take a look at our luminance. I just feel that these are a little bit bright right now. So let's just pull back on the orange. So we've got the colour highlighted, but it's just a little bit too overpowering for the image. So let's just pull back on the orange and the green in terms of its luminance to give a better balance to the overall image. So now we've got that overall balance, let's really focus in on our subjects now. So I'm going to add a mask, I'm going to select the subject, and this will select the waterfall. It will get there, here we go. So now it's selected the waterfall, fantastic. So now what I also want to do, we've got these cliffs either side. I want to add the cliffs to the context. I'll use the brush to do this. Oh, it's a little bit small. Let's just increase the size of the brush a bit. Yeah, that's perfect. So let's just add the cliff faces to the detail that we've got here as well, to make sure that we've got these engaged in the overall image, and we're going to be able to get that focus on those. There is a rock just above the waterfall as well. I'm going to include that. Now that we've got our subject selected, let's actually make some corrections to that. I don't want this to suffer in terms of the content. I'm going to pull the temperature back just a little bit, just to start to bring out a bit more realism within the waterfall itself. So I think the tint is okay. I'm going to pull back the exposure. We're almost reversing some of the changes that we've made previously. That's about right there. So let's have a little look at the dehaze, because I do want to make sure that we've got quite a nice focus on that. I think that's about right just there. And I actually want to pull back on the saturation of this, because I do think we need to make sure it's mixing into the overall image. That's good. I think now we've got a real focus on the waterfall and the cliffs around the waterfall. One of the things we also need to focus on is the actual snow as well. It's now got an orange glow, which makes it look artificial. So what I'm going to do here is actually pick a luminance range mask, and I'm going to set this pretty much right to the top. You can see the areas it's now started to select, and I'm going to push it right up to 99. That's pretty much then just picked the snow. I want to make sure that we only have the snow selected. So let's extract the subject, i.e. the waterfall, from that actual selection, because it did select beyond the snow itself, and we in this case just want to re-whiten the snow. So now that we've only got the snow selected in this upper area, let's actually just go to our whites and we'll just increase that just to get rid of that orange glow that was contained within it, and we'll just bring that to about there. That's perfect. And here's our final image. I hope you found it useful using the LightRoom techniques to enhance the waterfall colours, give it focus, and add an autumnal feel to the image itself. If you liked this video and found it useful, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I will see you soon.